This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in, ask questions, stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity. With Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Saks Off 5th is your secret to fashion's most wanted deals at up to 70% off. On the hunt for designer steals that'll turn heads and leave a trail of envy? Uncover Gucci, Valentino, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more, with new arrivals dropping weekly at prices too good to stay confidential. Luxe layers, statement boots, and tailored essentials from Saks Off 5th will put your wardrobe on the most wanted list. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for a style lineup you won't want to miss.
Couple 13-14 pass on Common. He is Tennessee, head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell just completed his day after the game news conference, and the big news, Tennessee, as we mentioned, and if you were not listening, J.J. McCarthy has been listed as out for the upcoming Sunday game against the Cincinnati Bengals. And did he say, I don't
know if he officially said out.
Okay.
I think like the verbiage was, we anticipate not having him, and we'll get Carson Wentz ready to go.
Yeah, right. You're right. He did not say he is out. He did not list him as out. But we
have journalistic standards on this show.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for checking for me.
But he's out.
Yes. This text message said, you guys are either on to something or you're on something. Both Pelissero and Rappaport, those are the newsbreaker guys. They do breaking news stuff. They're insiders. They're both reporting McCarthy has a high ankle sprain. And if that is the case,
that changes things.
That does change things. I don't think, though it's beyond the pale, to think when he first said it, it did have something to do with, look, you got an ankle injury, let's let it sit for a while, because it wasn't going very well when you were in there with an ankle sprain, whether it's high, low, middle sprain, middle high, low high, whatever. You weren't real mobile to begin with and we're struggling. Maybe we'd be better off because in a season in which, look, they brought up the injuries again, and the other 31 teams in the National Football League ain't going to cry for you. They're not going to feel bad for you because right now, Tennessee, if you went to every game wrap-up story from yesterday, they always at the end, they always have an injury update. I guarantee you in every game yesterday, there were probably at least 1, 2, 3, half a dozen guys on every team who He's got a bum knee. He's got an ankle. He's got a concussion. He sprained his shoulder. He did this. It's just, it's part of the game. And
you said it about your defense all year last year with the Lions.
Exactly.
And people got sick of you saying it.
Yeah. But
now they feel it.
Now you feel it. And so, it's, O'Connell said it. He said what every coach does. I don't necessarily say he thinks other teams are going to feel sorry for us. He says, but he would say other teams go through it. And it's just, we can't use it as an excuse. You just got to say, next man up. I mean, Lions last year, they set an NFL record for, and I don't remember exactly how, the way it was phrased, but, they had like 18 guys lost to injury on the defensive side of the ball last year. I think it was 18, and which was like, I from what I understand, if I read that correctly, if that was the exact. It's not a record you want, but there's never been a team in the National Football League that has suffered that many injuries on one side of the football. And so their offensive line is beat up. Defensively, they're without Cashman. And I'm sorry, was it Grenard or Gink that got hurt yesterday?
Well, Ginkle didn't play.
Ginkle didn't play, so Grenard...
Ginkle didn't play. Grenard got hurt in the game with a rib. They already didn't have Harry the Hitman.
Right. So you've got issues already. And however, all that being said, every team, exception of a handful, went into the season, and even realistically, behind closed doors, I don't think 28 of them are going, we can win the big game this year. But I would bet you 25 to 28 are thinking, up to 28 teams are thinking, things go right for us, man. We can get to the tournament. That's all we want to do. The old chip and a chair and a chance. There's 4, 5, 6 teams that know that ain't happening, right? The Vikings obviously were one of those teams that thought, you know what? If McCarthy develops, if we stay healthy, and the guys we added offensively and defensively, we're going to have a chip and a chair and a chance. We're going to make postseason play. We might even win the division. So if you had that feeling going in, you certainly, that's another reason why a cynical person would say this him not playing because of a bad ankle might also be a bit of a benching / injury, just because
just a convenient injury. We'll say it that way.
Because if you really thought going into the season you had a chance, you're 1-1. It's not like you're 0-2 and you're a terrible team in a terrible city with terrible fans in a terrible stadium. So you're still thinking to yourself, well, season's young, we're 1-1, it's far from over. But if we continue to get that kind of quarterback play that we got in 7 of the 8 quarters of the season, we're not going to get to the tournament. It's not going to happen. Now, maybe the more he plays, the better. I'm assuming, I'm not ready to say, well, this is it for him. May as well cut him and maybe make Rosemer our quarterback of the future. But it certainly isn't a very good start. It's not encouraging. But, one text messenger said earlier, I think Josh Allen was pretty mediocre in his first year or two. And, yeah, like you said, you can find an example for anything. So, we love nominating people for preposterous statements that say, he reminds me of Pat Mahomes. So, well, let's not get carried away here. So, yeah, and I'm not saying...
There's more non-Josh Allen examples available than Josh Allen examples.
That is correct. That's absolutely right. So, and I don't think the team, I don't think you or I or anybody, I don't think is ready to say, well, sure blew it McCarthy. It's time for us to move on. But
there's the one thing I do like about McCarthy. Preseason game last year, he gets hurt. We don't know about it until a couple days later. Yesterday, he gets hurt. We don't know about it until today.
Yeah.
He finished his game. He's a hockey player. He's a tough guy.
Yeah, he is a tough guy. He's the kind of guy that you eat some dirt and you rub a little Robitussin on it and you get back. Now, I'm getting concerned if he has a little injury problem. Well, there's that too. Yeah. Availability. What is it? Availability instead of ability, whatever Bud Grant used to always say. Well, that goes back to like a Jeff Okudah, who's on the Vikings right now. He was the 3rd pick overall. Detroit got him out of Ohio State. He was injury riddled there everywhere he's played. Sometimes guys are just, I don't know if they're brittle. If some of it's maybe just bad luck too, right? But yeah, he had the knee injury that kept him out all of last season. Now he has an ankle. So he hasn't, we haven't seen a whole heck of a lot of them. Wentz's career, you might have a better handle on it than I do. He played for North Dakota State or North Dakota? Which one? Or was it
North
South
Dakota State?
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State, the Fighting Hawks.
The Fighting Hawks he played for. He had a terrific collegiate career.
Yes.
Was he the second pick?
Drafted 2 overall behind Jared Goff, I believe.
Yes, I think that's absolutely right. And was it his rookie year or second year that he was leading the year they won the big game in 2017 until he got hurt, and then what's-his-face came in, Foles.
Nick Foles.
But Wentz was that his first or second year, regardless of what.
Year 2, he was an MVP candidate.
Yeah, he was really good. He was really, really good. When he got back, and since then, I don't think he's done. That's why he's been available. So it's one of those things you say, well, it was there at one time. It's like, to me, I don't even like to use myself as an example or an analogy or comparison because I don't even like talking about myself. You know that. But I say it regarding my golf career because I have a career in golf as the official and unofficial ambassador of Minnesota Golf. If you've played really well before and have hit, like you, when you had an experience that's not unlike that of a PGA Tour player when you shot at 74. Right now, I don't think, because you're not playing at all and not practicing because you got family and all sorts of, work obligations, blah, blah, blah. If you went out and played, you'd probably shoot 84 to 94. But somewhere in you, that good golf is still there because you had it before, right?
Sure.
That's the way I feel when I get off the golf course and I go, this has been a bad year, but man, I still have my moments out there where I'll have stretches where I hit the ball well. So it's still there.
And if you could combine me with a golf whisperer, that would be able to help me through some of this stuff.
That's exactly it. So, my point is, somewhere in there, you think Carson Wentz has got some good football because he was really good for that one season anyway. Or is it gone? I ask this question all the time, Tenneby. Is my best golf in front of me or behind me? For the longest time, I felt it was still in front of me. Now I'm beginning to feel like it is behind me. Is Carson Wentz's best quarterback play in front of him, or is it behind him? If you're a Vikings fan, you better hope it's in front of him.
By the way, Adam Schefter now tweeting, Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy is expected to be sidelined 2 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, so there we go.
And given 2 of those weeks are across the pond, and then they get the bye, he ain't playing the next 3 games.
Bingo. I think you're right.
So it's going to be Carson Wentz or Max Brosmer the next 3 weeks.
The story that would be really cool is, let's say Wentz struggles, and then Brosmer comes in and he's just brilliant. Right? Because Max...
Well, if one of them's brilliant, then you got to do the old quarterback controversy. What do you do here? You ride him.
Well, you have to, because it's not like McCarthy has been brilliant. It's like a lot of times if a guy's been well, let's take a break. We'll come back.
Yeah.
We can dive into this and some other topics as well. We'll do it other side of the break. Common Man program here on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in, ask questions, stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. And push your gameplay beyond limits with Intel Core Ultra processors. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel Inside. Maximize your edge by shopping at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. This is Jacob Goldstein from What's Your Problem? When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
It's finally happened. Your kid could be part of the first generation to never suffer the rough touch of toilet paper on their tender tush. All thanks to new flushable Little Dude wipes, available in bubble bum scent or fragrance free. Because we know little butts can make a big mess, but with Little Dude wipes, you can keep your kid's keister clean without the burn and debris toilet paper can leave behind on their behinds. Experience the confident clean of Little Dude wipes, available exclusively at Walmart nationwide.
13-14 past Common Man program. I don't believe we'll have a PJ Flex show tomorrow. Is that right, Tenneby? Because generally when they have a bye week, they don't have a PJ Flex show, I think. Because I've made that mistake before, thinking there was a...
I mean, on the schedule it says we do, but the person who makes the schedule can also make mistakes.
Yeah, or maybe it's the week heading... coming out of the bye, I don't know, but I'll try to confirm that tomorrow. So we're either here at noon or at 1 tomorrow, whatever the case may be, unless they decide to make a decision that they did at another radio station affiliated with the company where the noon to 3 guy no longer has a job and they've just gone 6 to 10, 10 to 2, 2 to 6. In other words, if it was this station, just as an example, it would be Power Trip. Saying the name of the show makes me laugh. The Power Trip, 6 until 10. The Purveyor of Positivity, 10 until 2, and then Big Ticket, 2 to 6. So that's always a possibility, too. I'm not sure. Mark Rosen, though, if we are here, will join us at 2 o'clock tomorrow. Before we get back into some Viking conversation, let's take a phone call from Merrill. Merrill, you're on the fan. What brings you to the program?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm thrilled to be along here with you, but, Tenneby, who usually, I'm calling from Fargo, by the way.
Okay.
Tenneby, who usually is the lone voice of reason in this hour or two of madness of your show that we get up here in chaos, got to help him out a little bit. I'm not exactly sure how he put it, but I think he identified Carson Wentz as playing for NDSU. That's North Dakota State University. But then he misidentified the team name. He called Carson Wentz. He identified him as playing for the Fighting Hawks.
And it's actually the Fighting Jackrabbits.
University of North. That's South Dakota. Come on now, land of the big heads. You know that. So University of North Dakota's got a great Division I hockey team, several-time national champions. Carson Wentz played quarterback for the North Dakota State University Bison several times. Well, it used to be Division II, whatever it is now, FBS, FCS champion.
Let me ask you a question,
There
Merrill.
you go. Carson Wentz was a Bison.
Let me ask you, first of all, how tall are you and how much do you weigh?
I'm 6 feet and 168.
Okay, we're a catch and release. Other thing is, you said bison. I say bison. How do they say it up in North Dakota?
Here, well, it's kind of like the intellectual defeatist snobs in the East Coast when they talk about history here in North Dakota. You know the Lewis and Clark excursion, right? They explored the Mississippi and
Lewis and Clark were a great comedy duo. They were a great comedy duo back in the 40s and 50s. Yeah.
I hear they're opening for you next week down at your bowling alley.
Yeah, Lewis.
But anyway, they identified the native woman, the native woman who escorted them through the mountains and everything in the West. Her name is Sakakawea. Out on the East Coast, they call her Sacagawea.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's out here in North Dakota. I don't know if you say bison. That's kind of an intellectual snobbery.
Yeah. Okay.
Pronunciation. Out here, they're the bison. We're the BIZ, the bison of North Dakota State University.
And then if you ever have anything, if you ever go to Zorba's, every S is a Z. Bison Zorba's. Thanks, Merrill. Appreciate it. Yeah. I love it. He goes that comedy show, bowling alley. And we've worked at Sauce and I have worked bowling alleys before. The Mermaid. We've worked River City Extreme. There are bowling alleys, and there are comedy show. We're working bowling alleys.
What extreme one can you do next?
So good. I'm actually crying thinking about Sauce and I work in a bowling alley.
So for Merrill's call, I I apologize. I misidentified. I forgot that the Fighting Sioux, when they had to change their name because of all the controversy, they changed it to the Bison.
The Bison.
So they went from Fighting Sioux to Bison.
Yes.
So I apologize. I screwed that up.
And I think you might both be wrong. I think he played for the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Is where he played. The Jackrabbits is where he may have played.
I always love that.
So, you're right. So now you get, if Wentz is brilliant, do you go back to McCarthy? Of course not. It's not like, let's say Steve Young gets in. No, Joe Montana gets injured, and then Steve Young comes in and plays pretty well. We're going back to Joe. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
You're not saying, well, Joe, sorry, this guy's played better. You went, no, we go back to Joe. He was not good for 7 of the first 8 quarters. So if Wentz got on a roll, you would go with him too. And then, you know how it is with I know the players. Well, look, there are people that don't work. There are listeners that know more about the radio station programming from day to day, tend to be than you and I do. This text message says, there is a PJ Flex show tomorrow. They're just doing it with football players as guests. And I think they've done that before. I just like the fact that and Bogarts is a bowling alley too. Sauce and I are just a couple of 10 pins, or maybe we're spare parts to a comedy show. Hey-o, I'll work on that one. You know what I'd like, Tenneby?
Merrill called back to correct me.
Okay. There are listeners that know our programming schedule better than you and I do. They say there will be a PJ Flex show tomorrow. It's just like they've done this before. PJ won't be, though. There'll just be some of the players will be the guests. And I think they've done that in the past.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
The listeners know our programming better than you and I do.
Oh, boy.
We work here. I just love it.
And I'm here for every 10 show.
Yeah, and you've been here for every single one of them.
I feel like that's only been like a year or two they've done that.
Okay, but they've still done it, and so we're very excited about it.
Just had a thought in my mind, by the way.
Yes.
Remember the San Francisco 49ers traded up like 3 first-round picks to get up and get Trey Lance?
Trey Lance.
And then ended up landing on Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy?
Yes, correct.
Could Max Brosmer be our Brock Purdy?
It's very possible, except unless Wentz gets hurt or is awful, they're probably going to go with Wentz, I think. But maybe not. They could go with Maxie Brosmer.
We had a couple games here.
Yes,
so if Wentz doesn't look good in the next game or two, you might give Max a chance.
This is true. Or do you go out and do you trade for Cousins? Do you bring Kirk back? He never wanted to leave, apparently.
Above average at that.
Everybody that leaves here never wants to leave. Thielen wanted to come back. I think Cousins wants to come back. Everybody loves it here.
The current state of our offensive line, I'm not putting Kirk Cousins behind that line.
That's a very good point. That would be
not going to work.
Yeah. That would be the same. Someone, when I was talking about, Rodgers, they said, Rodgers behind this offensive line, he'd be in a hospital. Deuce told me they call throws over the middle for a receiver that's going to get waylaid. They call those hospital throws. That's what he said he calls them.
When I was a kid, we called those thanks, buddy. Sarcastic, right, thanks, buddy.
Okay. Yeah.
Because you get in hockey, too, right? It happens in hockey where you pass and the guy gets decked the second he gets the pass.
That's a thank you. Yeah. Deuce said he said his buddies, they call them hospital throws. Yeah. Because you're headed to the hospital. So, for those of you who just joined, high ankle sprain, apparently for McCarthy, out, according to the Schefters and the Peliceros and the Rappaports of the world. It's a 2 to 4 week thing. And like Tenna mentioned, you got the game against the Bungles. Do we have a bye and then across the pond? No, the bye's after the
across the pond first.
So we have 2 games across the pond.
Dublin, then London against the Steelers and Browns, and then the bye. And then you get Philadelphia coming out of the bye. You want our schedule coming out of the bye? Philadelphia at home, at Los Angeles Chargers, at Detroit Lions, then Baltimore at home. So, you need to go probably 4-1 in this 5-game stretch, and now you're not going to have your starting quarterback amongst the other injuries you have. So it's already looking like a lost season.
But I would also suggest that, from what I've saw from McCarthy, your backup is actually an upgrade. I think Wentz is an upgrade. Just because of experience alone.
But I think with their other injuries, I don't know if it's going to matter.
Well, I absolutely agree with you. Is the Dublin game first?
Yes.
So it's kind of unfortunate because McCarthy, I think he must be Irish, right? So maybe he would have flourished there. Though the way he's had trouble hanging on the ball, the headline would be, he's fumbling in Dublin. McCarthy, fumbling in Dublin. I don't like that. We're always looking for alliteration. We'll pause. One more segment to go. Maybe let's take a little look around the NFL, Tennessee.
I wanted to rip KOC, too.
Oh, well, you can rip KOC on this side of the break, and then depending upon if I like the rip, I'll agree with you, or maybe I'll stick up for him. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Common Man Program on the Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in, ask questions, stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
In the heat of battle, your squad relies on you. Don't let them down. Unlock elite gaming tech at Lenovo.com. Dominate every match with next-level speed, seamless streaming, and performance that won't quit. And push your gameplay beyond limits with Intel Core Ultra processors. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel Inside. Maximize your edge by shopping at Lenovo.com during their back-to-school sale. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. This is Jacob Goldstein from What's Your Problem? When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
It's finally happened. Your kid could be part of the first generation to never suffer the rough touch of toilet paper on their tender tush. All thanks to new flushable Little Dude wipes, available in bubble bum scent or fragrance free. Because we know little butts can make a big mess, but with Little Dude wipes, you can keep your kid's keister clean without the burn and debris toilet paper can leave behind on their behinds. Experience the confident clean of Little Dude wipes, available exclusively at Walmart nationwide.
Couple 13-14 passed on the Common Man program. No, I'm Common Man. This is the Common Man program. I guess I am kind of the program. 10B is 2. It's 6 of one and a half dozen of the other, or as my late mother-in-law used to say, it's a horse apiece. Before Tennessee rips the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, I want to read a text message that came into the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. It says, Common, you are the flagship station of the Vikings, and you don't have any sources that McCarthy has heard until the press conference. Station should be embarrassed. I agree, and we are. I'm embarrassed. Look at, can you see my beet red face, Tennessee? You look embarrassed as well.
You look distraught during the commercial break.
I just can't believe that we did.
We were beaten to this.
How were we beaten to that? It's just, it's sad, really, is what it is. What's your beef with the head? What's your beef with the head coach? He's the NFL coach of the year, the reigning coach of the year. What's your problem?
Well, I'll preface it by saying, I'm a big KOC guy, right? Yes. I consider him probably one of the best 5 coaches in the National Football League. Mm-hmm. I think very highly of him. I haven't criticized him a whole lot, and I still think overall he's a very good coach. That being said, I thought there were moments last night. Now, I'm not going to act like I can break down coaching in terms of schematics and that kind of stuff.
Correct.
But, football's the one sport where it's a little bit easier to put on the coach at times because you can see specific moments and specific plays in games in which, hey, that's on the coach, as opposed to you can't really do that in other sports. And there were two moments last night that I thought KOC failed at. One would be the play where they were down 6-0 and they got the ball to the 2-yard line and got caught on a delay of game. And I know it was a little weird because the linesman was holding up the game because the defense got enough time to get a switch in and it was kind of coming down to the wire.
That can't happen.
Either A, KOC did not communicate the play to J.J. McCarthy in time. And even if you did, and even if that part of it is on J.J. McCarthy, at some point you got to burn a timeout there. Like you cannot go from second goal at the 2 to second and goal from the 7.
Yes.
You can't. And I know we don't want to burn timeouts, but that's a spot where we can't give up that 5 yards. So I thought he erred there. And then another spot he erred. Now, would it likely have affected the outcome? Probably not. But in the fourth quarter, the play after McCarthy missed Jalen Naylor, which would have been a 72-yard touchdown.
Correct.
And that was on 3rd and 1. So they are now 4th and 1 from their own 28. They're down 9 points. They're down 2 scores with 9 minutes left in the game, and KOC opts to punt there. One, you could argue just from an analytics standpoint, at any point in the game, you should always go on 4th and 1.
Yes.
But specifically, when you're down 2 possessions and you're now limited on time, you don't have time against you.
Yep.
When you went for it on 4th and 1 earlier in the game in your own territory, that made no sense to me. And I think what happened there, this is just me making a huge assumption here. I think he was bitter at J.J. McCarthy for missing the throw. Like, I schemed this thing open and you missed it. Like, I'm going to take it out on you and not let you right? Like,
Oh my gosh.
Like, my guess is he made an emotional call to, if this offense isn't going to do it, I'm just not going to give him a chance. But like, you almost just basically put the dagger in your own team by punting there. You can't give up possessions, down 2 possessions midway through the fourth quarter. You can't do it. And he punted, and I'm shocked he did punt because that just seemed very un-KOC-like to me.
I tend to agree. There was also 1st and goal from the 2, and O'Connell called a pass play. Remember?
I don't remember the specific play, but what was
McCarthy fumbled the fake pitch.
Well, yeah.
And the rest of the series got short-circuited.
Yeah.
As that's the words that Chip Scoggins uses, short-circuited. And the Vikings ended up kicking a field goal. Chip suggests in his piece, esteemed columnist, Fisher Factory West Side, that they let Mason bulldoze. They're almost getting too cute. I can make an argument for making a pass play, but when you do have your young quarterback who's been struggling, blah, 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 and you've invested in this running back, that may have been a good time to run the ball. There's plenty to pick over in the game that didn't go particularly well for the Vikings, of course. We talked earlier about a couple of the other games in the league. First of all, there was Giants versus Cowboys. That was kind of an afterthought game. I caught the tail end, I guess, bonus coverage, they always call it, right? When the game you're watching ends and there's still time left to the next game. Yeah. And that would be after the Kitties absolutely destroyed the Chicago Bears. They went to Giants-Cowboys, highly entertaining game. Russ Wilson threw for the most yards in his career in a single game for like 450 or something like that. But Cowboys steal one from the Giants. Then we talked about the Kansas City.
Well, before we move on, I didn't know the story about the Dallas kicker until yesterday. That basically he wasn't a football player; he's a soccer player.
Yeah, right.
And his wife was just they were watching football. I was like, "You could do that."
Yes.
And he just went out and started training, and now he's arguably the best kicker in football.
Yeah.
And he kicked a 64-yarder to initially take the lead.
That's correct.
That was easily cleared from 64.
Yes, you're right. That is a great story. It was his wife told him you could do that. He immediately went down to the park and booted a 60-yarder. So then he said, well, this might not be a half bad idea. So then he got a professional kicking coach of some, and the rest is history. Soccer player. It's like I told Deuce. And then
he came up through the USFL.
Yes. Well, I told you this about Deuce, didn't I? One time, this was a number of years ago. He was probably 14 years old, 15 years old. We went down to the park because we thought, man, maybe you should try. He thought maybe I should try to be a punter. Because if you can punt the National Football League, so we went down there, And after shanking 5 of his first 6, we said maybe punting is not really your cup of tea. But if you got a good strong leg and have the what's the word I'm looking for? The desire and and you've got the temperament and
the mentality
that just go hit and the time to just punt after punt after. It's not a bad way to make a living.
It is a tough position in that you get immediate feedback on whether you succeeded or failed, and it's all on you.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's typically not a lot of others to blame.
So when your Seahawks beat Steelers 31-17, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm told our pal Sam Darnold didn't play too half bad. He had a nice little game there. But the other thing I noticed in the scores, when we go into the season, you're always predicting which teams will make the playoffs and which won't, which the better teams will be. You look at that, and so much of that does hold true. Rams beat the Titans 33-19. Bills.
Darnold, by the way, 22 of 33, 295 yards. He had 2 tutties. He also threw 2 interceptions.
Oh, he did throw two ins. Bills destroyed the Jets. Pats beat the Dolphins. Bengals over the Jags. 49ers over the Saints. Ravens clobber the Browns. Lions destroy the Bears. Colts over the Broncos tend to be. Danny Dimes.
Controversial one at the end.
Controversial. Yeah, remind me what happened.
Indianapolis was kicking like a 60-yarder to win the game. Missed the field goal, but they called a 15-yard penalty on Denver for like leverage.
Oh,
like you're not supposed to use your teammate. But watching the replay, I don't think that was the right call. So then they now got a 45-yard field goal instead of 60. They hit the field goal. They win the game. Just based off of that call.
Yeah.
And I don't think the call was accurate.
Yeah. Either game tonight? Does either game tonight do anything for you? Bucks Texans could be okay.
I play fantasy football, so I'll be paying attention to both.
Take away the fantasy stuff. Chargers Raiders. Are the Raiders any good? Supposed to be any good?
It's hard to know, just because they've got a lot of changes, right? They changed their head coach and Pete Carroll. They got a new quarterback in Geno Smith, who he's all right. Their star tight end Brock Bowers. I don't know what the latest is on him. I know that it was going to be kind of questionable whether he's going to be able to play tonight. He didn't practice late in the week, so that would be a big loss for Vegas. But they won their first game against the Patriots on the road. Chargers, I thought, looked very good against the Chiefs in week 1. So I'll be interested to see if they can do it consistently and back it up. Also, both these games are the picks I did in spread swing. So yeah, I got extra interest tonight.
That Lions game
that helps.
That helped me for spread swing.
Yeah, vaulted you in the lead probably.
But then I also took the Steelers.
What'd you lose, 16-17 on that one?
Yeah, they got punished. So I think
I probably gained.
I made 7
close to 30 on the other one.
Yeah, I probably made
somewhere like 20 something.
I don't know. It still was a bit disappointing. See, I had another text message here that I thought raised some interesting issues. This one says,
"Oh my gosh!
Says, thank you, comment, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He just won't run the ball." I think you had brought that up going into the season, that a lot of people thought, and I was amongst them, and the season's still young, but I was amongst the people that thought, well, you go out and get Mason, and look, I'm not saying it was because of what Detroit did, but you saw how effective Detroit's run game was last year with 2 completely different and the Gibbs guy is special. He's spectacular. So you get Gibbs and Montgomery together, you get these, the Thunder and Lightning or Sonic and Knuckles, whatever they call them. And the Vikings had Aaron Jones, and that was basically it. So they go out and get the Jordan Mason guy, who's a pretty good back. And I thought that meant they were going to try to run the ball more. And I thought they would try to run the ball more because they had a younger quarterback. But I don't know if I've seen really any difference in the and I think you had thought you're not, hard to, a horse of a different color or hard to teach a dog, an old dog, new tricks or whatever it is. I don't know if I've seen any real intent to try to establish a run game yet with the club. Do you? I think a lot of that, he's an ex-quarterback. He likes to throw the ball. That's his offense is kind of, and you got the best wide receiver in pro football or amongst them. Plus, you also got a pretty good guy coming back soon in Addison.
Yeah, I just didn't think, I wasn't convinced. Well, as I said at the beginning, and your texters mocked me, that like we don't have an elite running back here that you would just go, well, we have, like, if you got Bijan Robinson, well, then you might need to change your offense a little bit to get Bijan Robinson the ball. But the running backs we have, Aaron Jones is an okay running back at this stage of his career, up there in age. And Jordan Mason is obviously a different type of runner than Aaron Jones, and he's fine. He's quality. I'm glad they went out and acquired him, but these aren't guys you revolve your offense around. So I wasn't convinced that all of a sudden they're just going to run. And obviously with the offensive line, we with the worries there, we haven't even been able to see that either. But I will say, and I guess we'll get more of a look at Jordan Mason now if Aaron Jones can't go on Sunday. But the last two games, I feel like Mason should be playing more than Aaron Jones.
So, college football top 25. The only reason I bring it up, Tennessee, is that Notre Dame loses. They're 0-2. They're still ranked in the top 25. That hasn't happened, is what it says. It's the first 0-2 team ranked in the top 25 since 1988. Why are they ranked? My guess is their losses were probably to two other ranked clubs, but when you're 0-2, it's hard for me to believe you're one of the best 25 teams in the country.
Who's this?
Notre Dame. Is it the Notre Dame bias? Doesn't NBC still televise every single one of their games, or is that contract expired? There was a time NBC, they were the Notre Dame.
Yeah, so they lost to number 10 Miami and then lost to number 16 Texas A&M. Both games very close. They lost to Texas A&M by 1, lost to Miami by 3.
Okay.
I mean, I guess.
I mean, I'm not losing sleep.
If we did like a NFL power rankings, I would still have the Kansas City Chiefs ahead of the Minnesota Vikings, even though the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2, right? Like, and I also feel like we should applaud schools that actually schedule top 25 teams on their calendar in August and September. So we should give those teams more credit.
How about your guy, Arch Manning? I watched that first game. I missed it. Well, Arch Manning, first game of the season, they played the Ohio State.
I saw that.
He was awful, dreadful. And we talked about it on the air. I chided him. I said, maybe he really just wants to be a biology major, and because of the name, he's forced to play quarterback because he was, Texas was rated number 1 going into the season, even though Ohio State was the defending national champions. Though I think they did change starting quarterbacks, that will make a difference. And the Manning, you sometimes wonder, does the Manning name elevate him to a place he maybe really shouldn't be yet? And it certainly looked like it in the Ohio State game. The following week, who did they play? I think he was better. They won. They beat UTEP on Saturday, 27-10.
They beat San Jose State.
Yeah.
38-7 on September 6th. And then, UTEP the Saturday.
And he had good numbers. And against San Jose State, you would have good numbers, right? Against UTEP, Manning was 11 of 25 for 114 yards and a tutty. He had a string of misfires with 10 consecutive incompletions in the second quarter, tossed an end zone interception, and never looked comfortable as he sidearmed some throws and missed open receivers on others. Story from Associated Press goes on to say Texas wasn't in danger of losing the game, but Manning's recurring struggles on the offense are enough to concern Texas fans about the upcoming SEC schedule and whether the Longhorns really are title contenders. Through the first 3 games, Manning is completing just 55% of his passes. He said afterwards, I've got to play better. A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of players want to be great. I know I'm better than this. One of the top recruits coming out. And I sometimes wonder, I'm sure he had a terrific high school career in that. It's kind of, I guess there's good and bad It's probably better to be the son or nephew or cousin or grandkid of somebody that's been really successful in your profession to be compared to, like with the Mannings, right? Mm-hmm. So that's good because it opens eyes right away, probably opens doors you wouldn't have had. But then the expectations are so high too, and the pressure. So the kid's already the club's 2-1.
You wouldn't even be talking about him if he had a different last name.
That's it.
If his name was Arch Johnson.
Yeah. Or Arch Molesky.
You wouldn't say a word about him.
No, you're absolutely right. So, but whether
but he's got the magnifying glass on him.
Yes, and so what I wonder is, I don't know, is he really? If
his name was Arch Molesky, he wouldn't even be this good.
Well, that's it. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, and so I look at those and I just sometimes wonder to myself, He's
not even Peyton or Eli's kid.
No, he's like...
It's Cooper's kid, right?
Yeah, it's Cooper's kid. So he's I guess he'd be the nephew of Arch and Archie and no, not Archie.
Can't Peyton give him some advice? Take him under your wing. Be a quarterback whisperer, Peyton.
Okay, here's another one. I watched Alvarez versus Crawford. Crawford got the decision. Should have. He's a talented boxer. I don't think I'd ever seen him fight before. But what I thought was interesting, what I heard was Alvarez made $100 million. Crawford claimed during a podcast appearance that he just took $10 million for the fight. $100 million to $10 million. This is a guy he makes tens of millions of fights. Here's what he said. I'm doing it for the opportunity, baby. The legacy outweighs the money. So he took $10 million compared to $100 million, and he ended up winning. He looked really good on Saturday night. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit with you today. We're back tomorrow at 1 o'clock. There will be a PJ Flex show tomorrow. We'll be back at 1. Mark Rosen joins us at 2. Stick around. Big Ticket and JG. They're next right here on The Fan.
And good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Hey, what's up? It's Mario Lopez. Back to school is an exciting time, but it can also be overwhelming, and kids may feel isolated, a vulnerability that human traffickers can exploit. Human trafficking doesn't always look like what you expect. Everyday moments can become opportunities for someone with bad intentions. Whether you're a parent, teacher, coach, or neighbor, check in. Ask questions. Stay connected. Blue Campaign is a national awareness initiative that provides resources to help recognize suspected instances of human trafficking. Learn the signs and how to report at dhs.gov/Blue Campaign.
Saks Off 5th is your secret to fashion's most wanted deals at up to 70% off. On the hunt for designer steals that'll turn heads and leave a trail of envy? Uncover Gucci, Valentino, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more, with new arrivals dropping weekly at prices too good to stay confidential. Luxe layers, statement boots, and tailored essentials from Saks Off 5th will put your wardrobe on the most wanted list. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for a style lineup you won't want to miss.
This is Jacob Goldstein from What's Your Problem? When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.